So you're looking into the mobile service providers, you're thinking about things like, SIM swaps, identity theft, and you want to know which of the carriers is going to best protect you from these very real threats. Well, in this video, I'm ranking the top 5 most secure phone carriers in the US from good to best. We're going to break down what protections each service actually offers you, how much they cost, and what other benefits they have, and who should actually consider switching to one of these more secure options. So let's get into it and start with number 5, which is Verizon Wireless. Some of the security highlights you're going to find with Verizon include multi-factor authentication and fraud detection systems, robust network security infrastructure with continuous monitoring, number transfer PIN and optional number lock for SIM swap protection, as well as travel pass support in 185 plus countries. With pricing, the 3 main options that you'll be looking at are the unlimited welcome, which is $65 per month, the Unlimited Plus at $80 per month, and the Unlimited Ultimate at $90 per month. When it comes to the pros that Verizon has to offer, because they are one of the largest networks, they have high priority data access during congestion. You've got both in-store and live customer support, and you've got bundles with entertainment perks like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. So overall, pretty decent, but not too focused on security. And on the con side, you're looking at higher monthly costs than some of the other options that we're going to be diving into. You've got premium data caps on some plans, and a lot of the main perks are going to be tied to those higher tier plans, which is going to cost you more. Now, in terms of why we have Verizon here at number 5, Verizon does offer solid protections like that required number transfer PIN, as well as that number lock, specifically to address SIM swaps. Multi-factor authentication and fraud detection are going to help secure your account, and they've got a pretty good call filter, which is going to flag robocalls as well as phishing attempts to make those more obvious and reduce the likelihood that you fall for anything. However, any protections past just that simple multi-factor authentication do have to be manually enabled, and there's no human verification layer. So a social engineering attack could still succeed here, making Verizon overall a strong option, but not really SIM swap focused. Next on the list at number 4, we've got Visible by Verizon. So in terms of the security highlights that we'll be looking at here, first, because they leverage Verizon's existing network, you've got a very secure backend in place, taking advantage of all the things that we already talked about for Verizon. However, on top of that, because there are no physical stores, that's going to reduce the risk of an insider SIM swap attack that can take place when a store employee goes rogue. Additionally, you've got multi-factor authentication, you've got encrypted logins, you've got an optional line lock for port out protection, and there's also a port out PIN that is going to be required if someone wanted to SIM swap you, which is basically just a special code that you have to provide to your new carrier when transferring your phone number from your current one, which just adds another layer of friction to someone attempting a SIM swap. In terms of pricing, there's 3 different plans that you can choose from. The first of which is the Visible plan, which comes in at $25 per month. Then you've got Visible Plus at $35 per month, or Visible Plus Pro at $45 per month. On the Pro side of things, you've got access to Verizon's 5G coverage, you've got affordable unlimited plans, and you've got taxes and fees all included with no contracts required. On the con side of things, you're going to have chat-only customer service, you're going to have deprioritized data in high-traffic areas, and you've just got fewer international roaming features available to you. Now, the reason that Visible comes in at number 4 is because their digital-only model is going to eliminate the kiosk-based social engineering risk that you would encounter with something like Verizon. You've also got multi-factor authentication built directly into the login flow, and you can enable line lock to block those SIM swaps and port out attempts, and you'd have to manually disable that in order to reduce that level of security. Visible also requires that port out PIN, but lacks any live human verification, which can be a potential downside. In general, pretty strong low-cost choice with decent safeguards if you do configure them correctly. Moving on to number 3, we have Google Fi. So in terms of security highlights, you've got a built-in VPN, which allows you to browse securely. In general, this is going to help prevent your sensitive information from getting leaked. This includes things like passwords that hackers can then use to gain access to other pieces of information that they can then use to SIM swap you, perform identity theft, things of that nature. They've got really solid spam and phishing call defense, as well as Google account-based 2-factor authentication. And then similarly to Visible, a port out PIN is required to transfer your number elsewhere. Now, they've got 3 main plans to choose from in terms of pricing. First is their flexible plan, which is $20 per month plus $10 per gigabyte. Their Simply Unlimited plan comes in at $50 per month, and their Unlimited Plus plan comes in at $65 per month. On the pro side of things, Google Fi is excellent for international travelers. They've got strong integrations within the Google ecosystem, and there's very transparent pricing and billing with your plan. On the con side of things, you can run into some limited compatibility issues. Generally, Google Fi is going to be best with Pixel, Samsung, or iPhone devices. And then data speeds also can vary depending on who the network provider ends up being at any given point. The reason that Google Fi comes in at number 3 is because they're built around your Google account. So you have advanced two-factor authentication built in, alerts, VPN access included, and they do require that port out PIN, but there's no SIM lock or added insurance and no secondary in-house verification layer beyond just your Google account protection. In general, though, this is a pretty secure option, especially if your Google account is properly locked down. At spot number 2, we've got AT&T. And in terms of security highlights, the first thing to note is their Active Armor suite. This provides things like call filtering, identity monitoring, and breach alerts so that you're fully in the loop on anything that happens with you and your information. They've also got that same number transfer PIN, as well as an optional wireless account lock to prevent you against SIM swaps. They also do provide you with a free VPN on public Wi-Fi via their app as well. With pricing, you've got 3 different plans to choose from. These are going to be their Unlimited Starter, which is $65 per month, their Unlimited Extra, which is $75 per month, and their Unlimited Premium, which is $85 per month. On the pro side of things, you've got nationwide 5G coverage, you've got very robust security tools, and you've got multiple different support channels depending on how you want to get in touch. On the con side of things, the premium plans can get a little bit expensive, and some of their more advanced protections require that Active Armor app and opt-in, which some people just don't end up doing. The main reason that AT&T comes in at number 2 is, again, because that Active Armor offers a strong lineup of features like breach alerts, VPNs, and identity monitoring, but they're only as good as the person actually going in and setting them up. Their SIM swap protection includes a mandatory number transfer PIN, as well as that optional wireless account lock, which is going to make them a bit more secure than the other options that we've talked about, because they're going to be blocking all of those number transfers until you manually turn off that setting. Which brings us to the most secure provider, which is Efani. Now, when it comes to security highlights, they've got an 11-layer account authentication process. This means that for Efani to allow someone to change an account or, transfer out your phone number, there's 11 different layers of verification that they have to go through. To this point, no hacker has even made it through layer 3, much less all 11 layers. And even if they did, there's a $5 million insurance policy backstop, which protects you against any SIM swap. So if somebody does SIM swap you, you're protected up to $5 million in damages. Efani also runs on AT&T's network, but it masks your identity from them. So if you go into an AT&T store and ask them for your personal information, they're not going to be able to see it. They could try to look up your phone number, but all they're going to see is that Efani owns that account. They're not going to see any of your information, meaning that there's no way for an AT&T employee to get bribed and basically give your information to somebody who is trying to do something nefarious. In terms of pricing, Efani comes in at $99 per month, which is all inclusive. So it's definitely on the pricier side, but if you do use the link in the description below that Efani has so graciously provided for my audience, you will save $99 on your plan. This also does help to support the channel if you want to do that. They also offer a $999 yearly plan, knocking the cost down to around $83 a month. On the pro side of things, you've got industry-leading SIM swap protection. I mean, nobody is protecting you against SIM swaps better than Efani is. That's simply a fact. You've got live human verification for all account changes, so anything of substance has to go through a real human being who is focused on ensuring that your account remains secure. They also offer a 60-day money-back guarantee, so if it's not what you thought it was going to be, there's no problem there. On the con side of things, the cost is definitely higher than standard carriers because you're paying for that increased security, and it does require you to verify your identity with Efani directly. The reason they come in at number 1 is that Efani is simply purpose-built to stop SIM swaps. Every account change or SIM swap attempt is going to trigger live human verification, and no changes are allowed to proceed without your active input. They've got those 11 layers of protection, as well as that $5 million insurance policy backstop, and they're keeping all of your data hidden from the underlying carrier so that they are just fully minimizing the risk of data exposure. You can also help prevent SIM swap attacks by protecting your personal info like your email, phone number, and usernames, so attackers can't use that data to impersonate you. I personally use Aura.com for this. It monitors my data for leaks, blocks scam sites and trackers, and alerts me if my identity is at risk in any way. So really for any high-risk individuals or anyone who really can't afford for their phone to be compromised, Efani is just simply the most secure option on the market. And truly, choosing the right phone carrier is pretty crucial for your digital security overall. Whether you're prioritizing cost, coverage, or top-tier protection, there's definitely an option that makes the most sense for you, and I hope this video was able to illustrate that. If you're interested, there are links to all of these in the description below. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.